Hello, Durud and Shalom. Guys, don't forget to like the stream. We need more people to see this. So, it has happened as predicted. I told you so. I knew this was going to happen. I told you this is going to happen years ago. I was right. I was right about the rise of anti-Semitism. I mean, not the rise, the revealing of what's already was happening on the surface. Guys, I used to go into the darkest parts of the internet, and I knew that this was a ticking time bomb, and it happened. I was right about that. A lot of people told me that far left has ended. They called it the death of the woke, the end of far left after the election of Trump. I was like, oh, my sweet, sweet summer child, you are so delusional. It's all there, and in fact, if anything, it will come back stronger at some point. And here it is. Here we are. You guys should have faith in me from now on. Okay, in the chat. This channel has demonstrated that we know what we're talking about. And let me tell you what's going to happen. We're going to have Nazism, Islamism, and communism and wokeism. More of all of this in the West. Every single one of this. Okay? And again, as a reminder to everyone here, the problem is not this guy. This guy is a symptom of a much, much, much bigger wave that is coming. This is just a demonstration of the underlying problem. A lot of you look at this guy, think that he's causing a problem. He's not causing a problem. The problem is the views of the people. He's just an demonstration of what the direction that people, just like Nick Fuentes is not the problem. Nick Fuentes is the demonstration of where things are heading, and he's the Nick Fuentes of the left. A lot of people call him the Trump of the left. He's not the Trump of the left. He's the Nick Fuentes of the left. And yep, we're going to have more Nick Fuenteses of the world and more Mamdanis. So all the best of ideas are on the rise. Islamism, Nazism, communism, wokeism. This is where we're heading. And we need to fight back. You, me, everyone. We need to get together and we need to learn how to respond to all of this bullshit. We need to do this together. So let's gather together and learn from each other. Because the wave that is coming at us, a lot of us are not ready. We're not ready. So let's actually watch this, what's happening, and respond to it, okay? And I chose this show on Piers Morgan because I want to see a whole bunch of different views about this, and because this is a good sample of all the different positions people have. So we could use that as a way to have a good response to every single one of them. Because even people who are against him, they don't have the best comeback. Like they're not doing a good job. Let me tell you right now, if you're against Zohran because he's a Muslim, you're doing it wrong. He's far worse than a Muslim. I mean, you shouldn't even. He's an. I'll talk about it on the show. Okay. The issue is not that he's a Muslim. The issue is far, far worse. If you think like, oh my God, they elected the Muslim, how horrible, you're missing the point. You're missing the point for why this guy is so dangerous. And I'll let you know why.
Donald Trump, turn the volume up.
If you told me 20 years ago that New York City would elect a mayor who is a Muslim guy, a terrorist sympathizer, who is anti-cop, I would laugh in your face.
Do you believe the NYPD is racist?
Yes! Oh, God. There it is.
Free buses, freeze the rent, universal child care. All these policies are wildly popular.
All that cool free stuff.
Respond. Yes.
Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? Venezuela, Cuba, Soviet Union. Okay. Give me an example, and hold on. I'll come with you. I'm all in.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Every American American that's watching this, don't get it twisted.
Okay, Vinny.
The moment a Democrat comes into power, the border's wide open.
I think the loser last night isn't the Republican Party. It's actually the American people. You were entertained by 2020 and a little bit scared about 2024. 2028 is going to be like The Godfather 2.
For the first time in a long time, Democrats are waking up to that winning feeling. It's not quite a political earthquake, but it's definitely a sizable tremor. And the epicenter is right here in New York City, where I am at the moment. Zohran Mamdani is the newly minted mayor of America's biggest city. And the 34-year-old socialist wasted no time in aiming his firepower at President Donald Trump.
So, Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, words for you. Turn the volume up.
All right, guys, you have to accept your enemy's strength, because if you underestimate your enemy, you will lose. When you listen to this, you have to understand that that is powerful. And just because we don't like the guy and what he stands for and his views are being so destructive, empirically proven to be destructive. Like, guys, this is not a matter of opinion. This is not rationalization. This is empiricism. We have empirically proven that this guy's methods ruins the society. We know that for a fact. Even though that is the case, we also know that this type of talking works. That is fucking powerful. And if you deny that, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. The way he speaks, that is charisma. I hate to tell you, that is charisma. That is a lot of strength. That is a lot of passion. That fucking sells. And if you are anti-populism, I'm sorry, populism works. Populism is popular. Populism is popular. The best if you want to be elitist and anti-populist, then you are going to lose. What we need is a populist that stands on the right side of things rather than being anti-populism. We need somebody who speaks like this and defends the free markets, defends liberty, defends less government involvement, defends fighting against mass migration, fighting against illegal migration, and fighting also against legal migration from shitty places. We need a populist that makes sense, like is standing for the right side. This way of speaking works. And you have to admit that he knows how to speak. He might not know how to govern. He might not know how to manage things. But holy hell, that's a lot of passion right there. And that was powerful. Listen to it again and tell me I'm wrong. Listen to me again. To this again. Hold on. I see the super chats. I will respond to the super chats very fast.
Donald Trump.
Listen.
Words for you. Turn the
Wait, the way he addresses Trump himself and calls him out by name?
The socialist wasted no time in aiming his firepower at President Donald Trump.
So, Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
So we got 2 super chats. One say Eric is saying hello from Miranistan. Thank you, Eric, for the super chat. And Bardo is here. Hi, Bardo. Bardo is giving us a super chat saying, as an American, the division really scares me. Most of us are in the middle, but the pendulum has swung so far right that I fear it will swing just as far left. Well, the pendulum is it has already. Yes, you're right. It's going both far left and far right at the same time. The middle is losing right now. The middle is losing. Both the far left, yes, Bardo, both the far left and the far right are winning. And in fact, let me tell you, the far right is celebrating Mamdani's win. The far right loves Mamdani because to them, the far right hates the establishment more than they hate the left. And the winning of Mamdani to them is a loss to the establishment. So I saw Nick Fuentes celebrating Mamdani's win. So let's continue.
Well, Mayor Mamdani's socialist program is about to have an uncomfortable brush with reality. The jury is very much out on whether they can really deliver on government-run grocery stores, free buses and free childcare, among many other lavish pledges. But the verdict on his campaigning style is resounding, and Democrats nationally will be taking notes. President Trump may call him a crazed communist, but he knows a canny operator when he sees one. Mamdani ran a populist campaign turbocharged by social media, which focused on massive changes to a failing status quo. It's all very familiar to the man currently in the White House. And Mamdani is the first prominent Democrat in what feels like an age to campaign on something other than calling Trump a demonic fascist. So has Mamdani cracked the code for a Democratic revival, or could his individual triumph drag the party down a far-left rabbit hole to electoral oblivion? Joining me to debate all this on a massive night in US politics is PBD podcast Angry Patriot.
Well, let me actually, guys, show you that Nick Fuentes celebrating this. Hold on, let me actually show you this because this is actually quite interesting. Hold on.
These consultants, these think tank nerds, these fucking dorks and losers, these out-of-touch theater kids and student council presidents, these fucking punks, they are miserable. There's a sense of dread. It has captured them because they know that MAGA is dead. It's dead. It has failed. It is a disappointment. The mass deportations, they're not happening. America First foreign policy, they forgot all about it. Approval ratings in the toilet. Epstein files covered up. Blue wave just happened. But the Groypers are jubilant. The Groypers are triumphant because the Groypers are winning.
He's right, guys. Mamdanis and Groypers are winning. The far left and far right is winning. He's celebrating the fact that MAGA is losing. And by the way, MAGA to these people is basically establishment. It's interesting because MAGA was supposed to right-leaning people was supposed to be anti-establishment. And guys, if you are anti-far right, you are when these people come into power, you are going to wish for MAGA days back. Anybody who hates MAGA, when the Nick Fuenteses of the world take control, you're going to see MAGA as maybe even leftist compared to these people. Okay, right? Like seriously, you'll see. I mean, we'll see. Here,
we're the only ones having fun. Yeah, all these MAGA people, all these heritage Americans. All these people saying, hey, patriot, are you trusting the plan? These people have been humiliated ritualistically by this administration. All that exuberance from the Cruel Kids table cover, all the exuberance from the election crashed on the rocks on the shore of reality.
He's actually right because the Trump's approval rating are crashing right now really badly.
Which is that
and the Groypers have never been stronger. The Groypers have never been stronger.
On the rocks, on the shore of reality, which is that your guy is owned by Israel, but we are winning. We are ascendant. The energy is with us. We're having fun. Now we're always smiling. Now we're the ones laughing. Now we have the energy. And they're upset because they know that. To add insult to injury, these guys like Patrick Casey, they're left making excuses. Hey guys, don't be anti-Israel. They're getting motherfucking destroyed in the replies.
Yeah, guys, both the pro-Israelis on the right are being destroyed. Pro-Israelis on the left are being destroyed. The leftists, the far left, the progressives are destroying people on the left who support Israel. And the people on the right who support Israel, they're being destroyed by Groypers who are anti-Israel. The anti-Israelis on both sides are winning.
It's over for them. You had your chance. You had your chance. We tried it your way. It didn't work. Now we're going to try it our way. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to infiltrate the institutions. We're going to keep spreading the message, and we're going to double down. No, Tucker, I disagree with you, respectfully. Appreciate the platform. I appreciate the opportunity to express myself, but I maintain my disagreement with him, although I think it's more civil now. We shook hands. I welcome him. I think he is America first. I think one day he'll be fully with us. I really like him as a guy. I thought our interview was excellent, but I maintain the disagreement. It's not about Israeli policy. It's about world Jewry. We're going to keep saying that. We're going to keep making that case because we're right and it's persuasive. And in 2028, we're going to play hardball. It's all for nothing if we don't take it to the Capitol. Don't you understand? We're not fighting for control of the hinterlands. We're not fighting for control of some empty plot of land. We are fighting for control of the Capitol. It's a capital siege, metaphorically. Don't you understand? That's how war works. You surround and occupy the capital cities of the country. That's what we need to do. New York, LA, DC, we need to occupy, politically speaking, the capital, the center of power. You have to infiltrate the institutions. To do that, we need to play hardball. And in 2028, this is when we make our entrance onto the stage. Maybe there'll be a Republican primary candidate we can back. Who knows what could happen? No one knows what could happen. No one knows what could possibly happen or who might run in 28. Maybe someone will run. I don't know. But certainly we'll be there.
Is he talking about himself? Well, he's too young for that, huh?
In Iowa. And Vance thinks he's the...
So you're saying, somebody in the chat saying, why is anybody giving attention to this child? Because the ideas that he represents are right now very, very popular. And he's the only one brave enough to say it. And that's why they love him.
Front runner.
And also because he's a really good speaker and he's charming and he's funny.
If Rubio gets the money, we will be there to tell everybody about it. We will be there to tell. And if you think that's not going to play in Iowa, okay, we'll be in New Hampshire too. And then we'll be in Nevada. And then we'll be in South Carolina. It's a long primary season. And Groypers have been chomping at the fucking bit to get involved. And they're everywhere. They have been chomping at the bit. What can I do? I want to get involved. In 2028, it's going to be a long primary season because we'll be there at every stop with homemade signs and people drive out. People will go where they are summoned and we will get the message out. And we will.
Guys, imagine this. This is our new America.
We'll play hardball.
This is our new America. On the left, we're going to have the Mamdanis. On the right, we're going to have the Nick Fuenteses. This is great, guys. Everything is fantastic. Nothing to see here.
Vincent Bashana, the co-host of Her Take and former Democratic strategist Lindy Lee, the host of Bet News, Mark Lamont Hill, and a journalist at The Grey Zone, Aaron Marte. So a great panel. Let me start with you, Vinny. You must be absolutely delighted that a self-declared socialist is now in charge of New York City.
Yeah, satirical.
Oh, Piers, being originally from Yonkers, New York, it's just it's overwhelmingly just happy. Piers, if you told me, Piers Morgan told Vincent Oshana 20 years ago that New York City would elect a mayor who is a Muslim guy, who is a terrorist sympathizer, who is
yeah, say that. Guys, him being a Muslim is not the issue. Him being a terrorist sympathizer and a fucking communist is the issue. You guys sound like a Nick Fuentes when you say like, oh, he's a Muslim. It's guys, we have Muslims who are anti-communist, anti-mass migration. We do. I know. I mean, I am anti-Islam. Okay. But even me, who is very aggressively anti-Islam, recognize the fact that there are some Muslims who, other than the fact that they're Muslim, they don't have shitty ideas. They're pro-capitalism, anti-mass migration. pro having a strong foreign policy and presence around the world. It is, they do exist. So, but when you say, just say he's a terrorist, he is a terrorist sympathizer. Just say that. Just say that. Stop saying he's a Muslim, because you sound like Nick Fuentes. I mean, Nick Fuentes actually doesn't care about Muslims anymore. He cares about the Jews. But you sound like a lunatic on the far right when you say he's a Muslim. There are Muslims who, them being a Muslim just means like, oh, I just pray and I fast during Ramadan, and that's about it. There are many Muslims like that. That's just it. That's it. There's nothing else. Everything else about them is the same as other people. They just pray. Some of them don't even do that. Some Muslims don't even do that, and they still call themselves Muslim. Okay, they just fast. They just remember that they're Muslim once a month in Ramadan, and then they forget. So I don't give a shit if you're a Muslim. I don't give a shit if you're Muslim. I do give a shit if you're a fucking communist. I do give a shit if you're a terrorist sympathizer, and Mamdani is. I do give a shit if you don't condemn Hamas. I do give a shit if you're anti-Israel. I do give a shit if you're not against mass migration or illegal immigration. I do give a shit if you're anti-police. I do give a shit if you think all of these methods like rent freezes or free this or free that and subsidize this and subsidize that is actually a way to run a society, which we have empirical evidence that it never fucking works. I do give a shit about that. Why would you say he's a Muslim when we have so much shit against him? Why would we sound like a fucking retard? Like, oh, he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim. You're making his case. When you say he's a Muslim, you're actually helping him, because people are like, oh, okay, so you're one of those far right lunatics, I guess. You know who else was a Muslim, guys? You know who else was a Muslim? Muhammad Reza Shah, one of the greatest leaders in history.
Anti-cop who literally took a photo with a co-conspirator of the first World Trade bombing, Piers, I would laugh in your face, but guess what? The joke is on me. And I'm telling you right now, Piers, it's almost as if The Dark Knight, the movie, Bane is there. Bane is going to be Mamdani, and you wait to see what he's going to do to the city. Okay, and Piers, let me back up a little bit. Shame on the Republicans, first and foremost. They couldn't pick one good, energetic, pro-American patriot to run. No offense to Curtis Silva, but he's too old. He's too boring. All right, the campaign was horrible. Piers, and guess what? No American's going to vote for a guy with a red beret. I'm sorry. That's number one. Number two, Democrats. All they had to put up to go against this guy, Piers, was a failed mayor, Eric Adams, who made it a sanctuary city, brought in all the illegals, crime went up, gave them money, gave them credit cards, put them in hotels, and then was like, whoops, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It was the Democrat leadership that made me do it. Cut to Andrew Cuomo, okay? Talk about a governor that failed. The alleged sex scandal, whatever you want to call it, and then he killed how many thousands of poor old grandmothers and grandfathers did he kill in New York? And guess when he apologized, Piers? Not 2 years after, not 3 years, the day of the election, he goes, I'm sorry, I messed up, all right? Which is absolutely horseshit. And I'm sorry for my language, Piers, but New York is going to get a taste of their medicine. I hate to say it, Piers, but sometimes you got to let the kid touch the iron and let him burn himself until he learns his lesson, and they're going to learn their lesson.
Okay, here's the problem. New York might actually not learn their lesson for two reasons, right? Reason number one is Mamdani might not actually have the power to do the things that he said he's going to do, like rent freezes or like free shit, giving people free shit, which is never free. It's never free. It's just every time the government promises you free stuff, what you have to hear is that, oh, it's just going to get more expensive. Every time a government controls something and tries to give it to you for free, they're just going to charge you in a different way. And because they're running it, it's going to be less efficient and therefore more expensive. So it's never going to be free. They're just going to hide the fees, right? In the small print. Anyways, so But New York is not going to learn its lessons from Mamdani for two reasons. One, Mamdani might not be able to do many of the things that he has promised because he doesn't have the power as the mayor to do so many of those things. One. Two, even if he somehow manages to ride on a huge wave of far leftism that other people would have to bend the knee to him, and therefore that way he might actually be able to get his way. If he gets to do that, then the people who vote for them, for Mamdani, the vast majority of them will never blame him for two reasons. First, this is a cult, and they will always blame the establishment regardless of what happens. They say like, oh, the establishment fucked up. Our leader, our great leader, will never do any wrong. One. Two, the costs associated with policies that socialists and communists advocate for, the cost associated with that is realized long term. But the benefits from it to the few who benefit from it is immediate. This is basically like drugs. It's like heroin. You feel good right after, but the effects, the negative effects of it are long term, and therefore you will see the immediate correlation between what you wanted and what happened. But the correlation between the negative things that happens because of it, because it's long term, you're not going to attribute a causal relationship between these two, and that's why a lot of people are not going to be able to connect the dots. And that's why he is not going to. That's why communism is such a powerful drug, because people immediately see the benefits and they cannot. It's hard to calculate the cost.
In about 1 or 2 years, you'll see, Piers.
Well, like I thought, you're jubilant about what's happened. Let me go to Aramata. You were making a few expressions there as Vinny was unleashing. I mean, from my point of view, it's very interesting because you've got results last night, which overall, a lot of wins for the Democrats, obviously, which is a good thing if you're a Democrat supporter. But two very distinct types of win. You've got the moderates winning, and then you've got Mamdani winning in New York, who's a self-declared socialist. These are
communists. Okay, people say socialist. If you are anti-capitalism, as Mamdani said he is, then you are just a communist. I mean, what is a communist?
Very different pathways for the party to go. Many people feel that it's going to be problematic to have someone like Mamdani, who is incredibly charismatic, rapidly becoming the face of the party, but a bit like with AOC and the others on the left, in a general election, highly unlikely to succeed with that kind of agenda. What do you think?
I think the people of New York showed that Mamdani is in touch with the grassroots of the Democratic Party and the majority of the country. If you can get past the fear-mongering that we heard from Vinny about Mamdani being a terrorist sympathizer and all the other smears that are used to. He is a terrorist sympathizer. That it has been established that Mamdani is a terrorist sympathizer. What are you? That is not fear-mongering. It's been established. He supported an imam, directly supported an imam that was supporting terrorists, and he actually praised him.
Dismissive,
progressive agenda.
Yeah.
He's not. He's just someone who believes that Palestinians are equal human beings, and for people devoted to the
no. The only groups of people that consider Palestinians to be human beings are the people who support Israel. Because it's the IDF and Israel that actually cares about the lives of people in Palestine. The Palestinian cause movement really needs and relies on the death of the so-called Palestinians for their movement to continue. If nobody who supports the so-called Palestinian cause gets to say that they care about the so-called Palestinians. And also, they're not Palestinian; they're the people of Gaza and West Bank. But the only people that get to say that they care about their lives are the people who support Israel, because it's only Israel and the IDF that has any chance of saving their lives. Anybody who supports the so-called Palestinian cause is actually supporting a cause that is fully invested in the suffering and the death of the people of Gaza, and they don't give a shit about the people who live there. They are invested in their suffering and they're benefiting from it.
He's not. He's just someone who believes that Palestinians are equal human beings. And for people devoted to the state of Israel, they can't understand that concept because they're Jewish supremacists, or they've internalized Jewish supremacy. But everybody else understands that in this era of Democrats and Republicans supporting it.
I pissed off a whole bunch of Fifi Palestine people in the chat. Okay. Oh my God, so much butthurt for guys. What I said was pretty good because I see a little butthurt.
But everybody else understand that in this era of Democrats and Republicans supporting a genocide, supporting an assault on working people, someone like Mamdani is a reasonable alternative. Yes, he calls himself a democratic socialist. If you look at his policies, they're incredibly moderate. He wants to establish free buses for working people. He wants to freeze the rent in.
Oh wait, these policies. Let me. The chat is amazing. All right, so look at the policies.
Free buses for. If you look at his policies.
Okay, let's look at his policies.
Incredibly moderate. He wants to establish free buses for working people.
There is no such thing as free buses. If the government pays for the buses, you are being charged in taxes. And because the government is now running managing the transit system, is going to be done less efficiently and therefore more expensively. And you are going to have to pay for it in taxes, which actually takes money, not just money out of rich people, but also out of businesses. That means everything else will be more expensive, and less income, and more expensive. Less income for most people, and more expensive. So whenever you see something gets freed by the government, just realize that because of that, everything else just got more expensive, because the government had to pull tax money out of businesses to fund that, out of the basically wealth, the organic flow of wealth in the markets and the economy. When you pull any money out of that, there is less wealth floating around. There's less money chasing goods and services. So that means less income and more expensive. Everything will become less efficient and more expensive, and people will have less income. So it feels good to see that the buses are free, but you don't realize that you have been robbed by the government more than the money that you're saving from the buses.
He wants to free.
We Iranians are very familiar with these promises, because we had Khomeini in 1979 promising Iranians that he's going to make the buses free, and look at how that turned out.
He wants to establish free buses for working people. He wants to freeze the rent in rent stable.
Yeah, freeze the rates. That's such a fantastic idea. Just basically, you're telling people who buy property in New York that they don't get to decide how much they charge for it. Basically, you're telling people with capital to save money, to invest their money in property, that if they buy property in New York, their property is not really actually their property. Because if it was, they will, when I buy some apples to sell them, I get to decide how much I want to sell them for. If somebody else decides that for me, these are not really my apples. So if I buy properties in New York and somebody else tells me that this is how much you could rent for it, they are not technically my property anymore, because I don't have control. My property is basically something I have control over, that I get to sell with the prices I determine. If somebody determines that for me, that means I have no control over it. So if anybody has any extra wealth, they shouldn't be buying properties in New York, because the government doesn't let you. Think about this, guys. Just think about this logically. What are you telling people around the world? Don't buy properties in New York, because then you don't get to charge the rent that the market has determined is the worth of your property. What would you do as an investor if you have some extra income? You would probably buy less properties in New York. What happens when you buy less properties in New York? Building properties become less profitable. What happens when building properties becomes less profitable? Less properties will be built. What happens when less properties do get built? There will be less housing for people. What happens when there's less housing for people? Housing becomes more expensive. Did you connect those dots? Was that clear? Did you guys understand what I just said in the chat? This is Econ 101. Did you follow with me? Did that make sense? Somebody's saying your logic is flawed. This is not my logic. This is basic economics. These are the laws of demand and supply. Read a fucking book. Okay. Tim in the chat gave us a super saying, buy property in your home country, problem solved. Buy property in your home country, problem solved? What are you talking about? We're talking about people in the United States buying less property. I don't understand. Maybe I don't understand what you're saying. We're talking about people in the United States. When you have make extra income, you want to save it somewhere. Obviously, properties in New York will become less of an ideal investment when you don't get to charge for it what you want or whatever the market determines. These are easy concepts, guys. These are easy concepts.
Departments. He wants to provide universal child care. All these policies.
Yeah, universal child care. What? Okay, so basically the government paying for child care. That sounds like such a good idea. Do you know why it's not? Because you're going to make child care more expensive. Because the best way to make childcare affordable is to get the government out so they could compete with each other. So when the more they compete with each other, the more prices will go down and the quality will go up. That's how you get more affordable childcare. When the government runs it, when the government makes it fair, it becomes less efficient because there's less competition. It becomes more expensive. And if you think it's free, it's not free. You are paying for it somewhere else.
In rent stabilized apartments. He wants to provide universal child.
Oh, and it's funny. People are saying, bro, cope harder. I'm just telling you the facts. The fact that you're telling me, bro, cope harder just shows that you're butthurt because of all the facts that I'm dropping here. When people say cope harder, that is them coping.
All these policies are wildly popular. The difference is, and what's radical about him, is that he's centering working people. He's talking about issues that actually impact average people's lives. Donald Trump promised to do all the things that Mamdani has talked about, but he hasn't. He's just delivered for his billionaire backers and the cabinet that backs them up. So Mamdani, unlike everybody else pretty much in U.S. politics, with some exception, is actually speaking to average people's needs, including on the issue of Israel-Palestine, where people...
Yeah, so this one thing he said is right. By the way, guys, notice how the people who are against me in the chat, they don't have a single point regarding why anything I said is wrong. They don't even understand. They don't even understand what I said. Like everything I said about why these policies are dog shit. They didn't even understand my words. Like it was too complicated for them, and they're calling me out as wrong or like bullshit just because I am shitting on their dear leader. That's the only reason. But they don't even know what I said for them to even be able to explain why it's wrong. Or else they would tell me, right? But one thing that this guy just said that is correct is what Mamdani is doing right. He might have really dog shit solutions, but what he's doing that is correct is that he is talking about what people care about. And honestly, that seems to be enough for people to get votes. Like if you understand what people care about, if you talk about it and say that I'm going to solve it, even if you have no fucking solutions, people are going to vote for you because people could see that at least you're talking about what they are concerned about. So that's what people... Okay, Shauna just gave us a super chat saying free childcare is actually just a way to create more brain rot kids. Children are often abused in these low paid jobs. Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe you're right, but because I haven't looked into this, I would not be able to comment on it. But okay, thank you for that. Interesting if true. Thank you, Shauna, for your super chat. Thank you for supporting the show.
It's actually speaking to average people's needs, including on the issue of Israel-Palestine, where people were just fed up with both parties supporting genocide in Gaza.
Okay, Mark Lamont Hill.
There is no genocide in Gaza. The genocide happened on October 7th. What's happening in Gaza is an act in stopping genocides from happening. There is no genocide in Gaza. If you don't know that, you're a fucking moron. It's obvious that what's happening in Gaza is not a genocide.
Supporting genocide in Gaza.
Okay, Mark Lamont Hill.
Aaron, if you don't mind me, Piers, can I just say one thing?
Quickly,
Aaron, did he not take a photo with the co-conspirator of the first World Trade bombing? Did he not take a photo with that? Hold on, smiling, and I'm pretty sure you didn't say anything. And all that stuff that you said, all that cool free
I'll
stuff.
respond. Yes.
Who's gonna pay for it? Who is gonna pay for it? Who is gonna pay for it? I'm just curious. By the way, and show me one time that this has worked. Venezuela, Cuba, Soviet Union.
Okay.
Give me an example. Give me a case study. And hold on. Don't smile.
Okay.
I'll come with you.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. Show me a single place where these policies work. Show me a single place. Every country that became more capitalistic became more prosperous. Every country that went the direction of socialism suffered. And by the way, if you think Norway and I don't know, Sweden and Denmark, these are socialist country, then you're a fucking retard. Those are capitalistic countries. They're just capitalistic countries with some social programs, but they're completely capitalistic countries. If you think that those are socialist countries, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, thank you, Sapien for the Sapien Jew for the super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.
I'm all in. Show me when it worked, and I'll buy it. I'll buy it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Somebody saying it works in China. You fucking retard. It never worked in China. The reason, go look at when China became prosperous. China became prosperous as soon as they opened their markets and as soon as they opened their borders to trade. And it would have become even more prosperous if they actually made their economy even more free. And in fact, the reason why China eventually started suffering is because they tightened their grip. They became more government involvement. China is actually the best case for capitalists. China's economic miracle happened as soon as the government loosened up some of its grip on its people and the markets. You guys, China is actually the best example for us. Goddamn idiots.
Give it to me.
To answer your questions in order, in the course of campaigning, where candidates take pictures with literally thousands of people, he appeared in one photo with someone who was identified as an unindicted co-conspirator in a bombing he was never even charged for. So yes, people take photo ops all the time.
Yeah.
No, you idiot. He directly supported terrorists. He funded their legal campaigns and he defended actual terrorists.
Andrew Cuomo.
Unindicted meaning what? He was in the room.
Excuse
Give
me.
me a break, bro. Give me a break.
That's not what that means.
Andrew Cuomo has taken pictures with actual war criminals, unlike Zohran Mamdani, who rejects the endorsement of war criminals. In terms of how he's going to pay.
No. He praised him. Mamdani praised him, and the people this guy calls war criminals are probably just heroes. Oh, we got a super chat. Sean is saying, okay, but the working class are still suffering. The issue the right is going to have is ignoring their base. Yeah, I know. Like they need to be, obviously, those people. What Mamdani does right is he touches upon what people actually need attention. He just has dog shit solutions. What the liberals, both left-leaning liberals and right-leaning liberals, like people with classical liberal values, what they need to do is they need to do a better job in communication on why free market solution is actually the solution to the problems. That's what we need. We need a populist that stands for capitalism. We need to stop being so elitist and anti-populist. We need a populist that stands up for the free markets. Look at this. Somebody is spamming in the chat, Epstein. Okay, guys, I'm gonna release the files. Let me like do you think I have it? Why are you saying that here? Do you think I have it? Okay, here. Where is it? Wait. I lost it. I promise you I will release it after the show. Like, why are you spamming me? Like, I don't have it. Michael followed him in the chat saying, Armin, what is happening to New York happened to my city of Detroit. We had a corrupt socialist mayor that ran on race politics. How did that work out? Okay, that's a good point. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the super chat.
For it. He's already said he's going to tax the ultra wealthy a little bit more, who already make all the money in the world. That's who he's going to pay for his popular social programs. He's not proposing anything like we've seen in Cuba.
They're all leaving. And guess who's leaving? Guess who the mass exodus is going to be? Guess who the mass...
Yeah,
and just out of curiosity, they're going to leave. Hold on, you know what you're not talking about? Who is going to come to New York? Who's going to come to New York? He wants to let people out of prisons. Okay, think about it. He wants to give away free stuff. Hold on, and he's pro-illegal. What the hell's going to happen to New York? You're missing the whole point.
That's actually a very good point. That guys, the reason why we have so many illegal migration in the United States is the free shit. Guys, I hate to break it to you, but no amount of ICE is going to get rid of illegal immigration. The best way to get rid of illegal immigration is to stop all the fucking free shit that they get, and to also go after the companies that hire them. You still need ICE, but no amount of ICE raids is going to stop illegal migration. You need to cut the incentive. And what Mamdani is doing is he's increasing the incentives with all this free shit. It's going to be a magnet for the worst people.
Like you, people like you want to people like
somebody, Mohsen in the chat is writing in Persian, Amrika ra azad kani. He's saying free America. In response to the free Palestine people, he said Mohsen is like free America. Yeah, guys, free America. Or free America.
Okay, Benny, listen, people like you want to give away free stuff to foreign governments like Israel to slaughter innocent civilians. Zohran Mamdani wants to use government resources.
When have I ever said I'm pro-Israel?
That's the problem. The guy who's anti-Mamdani from the other side, he's also anti-Israel. This is the situation we're in. On this panel of people being pro and anti-Mamdani, the anti-Mamdani guy is also not pro-Israel. This is the state of affairs right now.
I never said that.
Listen,
don't put words in my mouth.
By adopting
the innocent. I pray for the innocent women and children of Palestine. Don't put words in my mouth, because you don't know me. But
don't pray to God for the people in Gaza. Pray to the IDF. The IDF is the only solution. The IDF is the only thing that could save them from Hamas. Shana give us a super chat saying America needs less socialism for illegals. It should be hard to move here. Yes. Well, it should be impossible to move here if you're a fucking Islamist and from any of the shithole countries. It should be impossible. It should be impossible to move to America if you're illegal, and it should be impossible if you are from one of those shithole countries that brings your shitty values to America.
I know this spiel, and you had to bring up Donald Trump. You always, and this is the problem, Piers, why these people have no leaders, no vision, no message, because for 8 years, you've been saying Trump, Trump, and when the dust settles, you have nobody.
You guys hired,
you got a
time out, guys. I want to bring in, we've got two other panel members. I want to bring them in. Martin Lamont Hill, here are the things about Mamdani, which I like. He's very charismatic. He's got a very clear identity, I think, about what he stands for. He's an unashamed socialist. So he just says, this is what I am. There's something admirable about someone who says, these are my political colors. That's fine. I may not agree with him.
Hitler had all of these characteristics. I don't understand. You're going to like somebody who knows what he stands for and he's not ashamed and he's clear about what he wants? Yeah, okay. So by that standard, Stalin and Hitler should also be praised by these standards.
An Arsenal fan. A very big Arsenal fan. He's been talking about it this morning. So he's clearly got immaculate taste when it comes to his football teams. But here's the issue, isn't it, Mark? For the party, I think it's if he turns out to be a massive success in New York, hallelujah, he might be the guy who ends up becoming the president, right? And the Democrat superstar. Here he is now in charge of the biggest city in the country. On a very socialist agenda of giving all this stuff away. We've kind of seen a parallel for this in the UK with the Labour government who got swept in over a year ago with a massive majority.
Look at this fucking idiot. Somebody saying how ignorant to compare Hitler to Mamdani. You fucking idiot. I wasn't comparing Mamdani to Hitler. I was saying Piers Morgan's standards are stupid because based on those standards, these people would be great people. Are you fucking retarded? Like here, if somebody says every painter, every artist in the world is a good person, and if I say, well, Hitler was an artist, it doesn't mean that I'm saying all artists are the same as Hitler. I'm saying that doesn't follow. That is anybody who thinks that that's a good standard is retarded, just like you are.
See, and it's already crumbling at the seams. They're about to launch a massive tax raid on pretty much everybody. They're incredibly unpopular, and it's all gone pear-shaped very, very quickly. If that happens with Mamdani in New York, conversely, it becomes a referendum on the Democrats that their big star turned out to be, a wolf in sheep's clothing. When was the last time you truly...
I don't want to see the ad.
Right off the boat to lock in taste to keep your tea.
This is just the ad.
Not all...
Ad.
I think that leap, even if he were somehow not successful.
For sponsoring this episode.
Wow, that wolf in sheep's clothing would be a a bit of a leap, even if he were somehow not successful. But I think that
that's not going to be an issue if he's not successful. It's a cult. It's the Mamdani cult. His fan base is not going to blame him. Guys, what are the chances that Mamdani's fan base is going to turn against him, his core base against him, if none of what he says works? What do you tell me in the chat? What are the chances? They're going to say it was the establishment. They're going to blame everybody else but him. It's basically like, guys, remember how Trump said, if I shoot somebody, they're still going to love me? This is the same thing with Mamdani.
there are a few issues on the table here.
People are saying zero, it's a cult.
One, we continue to call him a socialist. And I think it's important to reiterate that he identifies as a democratic socialist, right? And
okay, first of all, a democratic socialist, so a socialist. And the democratic socialist is just a term people use to act like there's a difference between them and socialists. He's anti-capitalism. What else do you need to hear? He said that. He said that himself. He said he's anti-capitalism. So what is it like? He's not a socialist, he's a democratic socialist. Okay, so a socialist.
And there are different types of socialism, and democratic socialism does not support the abolition of private property. It is not saying that there's no democratic elections. Many of the kind of boogeyman references that are made to socialism don't apply to Mamdani's vision or his self-identification any more than
Dude, he's anti-capitalism. He thinks capitalism is bad. That makes him a socialist. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, we got a super chat. I don't know. So we got a super chat by Hamid saying New York ain't safe anymore because of Mamdani. Well, maybe we have to see how much he can actually do the things that he says he's going to do. I mean, you're right, actually, because as the mayor, he does have a lot of influence over the police, and he wants to reduce their budget, which is going to make New York less safe. So you're right about it, actually.
it does to AOC or any more than it does to Bernie Sanders. I think one of the things we've learned in the last few years is that Democrats have played it far too safe. They're not speaking to people's needs. They're not speaking to people's interests, speaking to the fact that people need the rent to stay stable, that they need access to food, clothing, and shelter.
You don't get to tell people how much they charge for their property, you fucking idiot. If people want lower prices of housing, then deregulate housing so that we could have a higher supply of housing. That is the solution. If you want more affordable housing, get the government out of it. Get the regulations out of it. That will make it more affordable because you're untying the hands of the people who want to build more properties. That's how you do it. You don't tell people how much they get to charge for the property that they fucking own. That's going to make it worse because that's going to scare people away, and it's going to make less properties being built. Lower supply, higher prices. Econ 101. You tell people that they cannot do what they want with their property. Less people will buy property. Less properties will be built. Lower supply of properties will make a higher price of properties. Easy. Econ 101. That's going to backfire. Here's what you do. If you want lower housing, you get the government out. More people will build. Higher supply. Lower prices. Is it that simple? Yes. Yes, it is, because it has always worked. That's how it works. But people don't want to hear that. The reason why people don't want to hear that is because people want the government to just come give them shit. Because it's easier to understand that. The government, big daddy comes in, here, I'll give it to you. And that's that's more easy to understand. They just want something handed down to them. That's why it sells. That's why economic populism works when it comes to getting votes. Guys, it's not a fucking accident that the things that in the United States that are the least affordable are the exact things that the government is most involved in. Housing, healthcare, and education are the least affordable things in the United States. And those are exactly where the government has been the most involved in. I wonder, coincidence? I think not. Look, somebody's saying, what is simpleton? I just described to you Econ 101. I have a finance degree, if I may I add. Okay, so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. This is, guys, this is what you learn on day one on econ class. How do you not know these things?
That's what Mamdani is doing. And if for some reason he were not to be successful and didn't have a great mayoral administration, I don't think it would be fair to say that I see that as a referendum on his ideology any more than all the other unsuccessful mayors and governors around the country or presidents around the country and the world who have had unsuccessful campaigns as capitalists and imperialists and fascists. We don't say, oh, maybe we should try something different. Sometimes it's about changing the driver, and sometimes it's about changing the direction. What we saw in New York last night was that New Yorkers want to do both. They wanted new leadership, but they also want a new vision. And I think that that's something that Democrats should follow, because the way they've been working so far has not been working.
Okay, literally, the thing that I would be concerned about if I was Donald Trump and the Republicans is that the running theme behind all the successes the Democrats had last night was affordability. And there's no doubt the cost of living crisis coming out of the pandemic, inflation continuing. Trump can claim some wins in bringing some prices down, others not so good. But this ongoing running sore of the standard of living for people in the bottom bracket of society in America is not going away. People feel angry enough now to vote for people who they think are going to tackle as a priority affordability. It's been very striking to me that Mamdani, he doesn't want to get involved much in foreign affairs. He wants to focus specifically on the ability of really impoverished New Yorkers who can't afford their groceries, who can't afford to rent a home, and so on. That has been something that's resonated. There's no doubt about that.
Mark, respectfully, it's great to be here with you, but I got to address some of the claims that you made. This guy literally said he wants to seize the means of production, okay? We're not slapping a communist label on him just for our shits and giggles. He literally said this himself. And Aaron, as someone who has fundraised...
Yeah, that's basically exactly a Marxist quote. That is democratic socialism, my ass. Wow. Like, it doesn't get more communist than this. What the fuck?
He literally said this himself. And Aaron, as someone who has fundraised for Democrats, who's been in the game for a very long time, I can tell you that politicians at a high level, they vet every single person in the room. You better believe that no random person can just take a photo with Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. We vetted them. Someone actually who owed $40,000 to the IRS is booted out of the room because they didn't want him to be seen with Joe Biden, okay? So this is not just, this is very intentional on his part for you to say, oh, it was just some random dude who showed up. And not only did he take a photo with him, he decided to compliment him. That was a conscious decision.
Yes, he complimented a terrorist imam, a terrorist supporting imam, and he took a picture with him. It wasn't like those other people who just like happened to be in a place that he is, because people are like, oh, what about this politician? What about that politician? Those other examples, if you actually go look, they happen to be in the same area that he is. And I remember Bloomberg even apologized for meeting him. But Mamdani never did that. Mamdani went and took a picture with him and praised him.
But Piers, going back to what you said, he did a good job of campaigning on affordability, yes. But I also want to remind folks that we were heading in the right direction, so much so that Jerome Powell decided to lower interest rates not once but twice. So it takes a long time to bounce back from the mess that Joe Biden got us in, but we are moving in the right direction. And frankly, I know, Vinny, I love you to death, babe. I know you're upset about this, but I think this is the biggest gift for Republicans that we could possibly hope for, because
no, you're wrong. That's what the Democrats said about Trump. You're wrong about this.
I think this is the biggest gift for Republicans that we could possibly hope for, because honestly, Marxist Mamdani, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, these people being the face of the Democratic Party is exactly what I want to run on going into 2026.
Oh no, 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 no. You guys are so naive. You guys are so naive. You think your better ideas is going to win populism? You need your own populace, you freaking idiots. You don't you just because their ideas are shit, that doesn't mean they're gonna lose. Why are you being so naive? This is the same thing that the Democrats thought about Trump. Like, oh my God, we would love guys, remember this? I think I'm too old. I'm so old that maybe a lot of you were kids back then. Remember Trump's first term when he became the nominee of the Republican Party? The Democrats were like, "Oh my God, thank you. Republicans are retarded. We would love to run against Trump because Trump is so bad that it's easy to defeat him." Remember that? Remember that? Now you are saying this. Why don't you learn from your mistakes, from other people's mistakes at least? Oh, we got 2 super chats. Oh no, I already read that one. We got one, and nothing but good stuff. Just gave us a super chat saying, "We love you, Armin, our gallant knight, speaking up for truth and justice." Well, thank you so much. That's very sweet. Appreciate that. That was sweet. That was very sweet.
Yes.
Okay, I want to just hold. Let me just hold the panel there. Let me hold the panel for a moment.
Yeah, because
I'm going to come back to the panel in a moment. I want to just bring in Frank Luntz, the pollster extraordinaire. Frank, your take on last night? I thought it was a very interesting set of results. Obviously, overall, a good night for the Democrats, but pulling in 2 very, very different directions: moderate, and then the socialist in New York.
The race, to me, that was by far the most important, didn't even feature a candidate. It was the ballot initiative in California, which some of your audience won't know much about, but that's going to allow the Democrats.
Yeah, this is actually important that I don't know much about. Let's actually listen to this guy about California.
But pulling in 2 very, very different directions: moderate, and then the socialist in New York.
The race, to me, that was by far the most important, didn't even feature a candidate. It was the ballot initiative in California, which some of your audience won't know much about, but that's going to allow the Democrats to completely rewrite the borders, the districts, the lines that'll determine which voters vote in which areas. And that's going to give the Democrats 5 or maybe even 6 additional House seats. Now, Republicans had done it before in Texas. Democrats had a really bright, smart usage of language on the ballot to help them win that race, but it wasn't even close. And Piers, that shift may well determine who controls Congress in 2026, and that's going to change history as we know it. That was the most significant race. I know it doesn't get the kind of yelling or kind of passion that the New York mayoral race does, but I'm telling you that the California voters have absolutely changed, have uprooted what was going to happen in America, and that's going to be the big story that we're going to be talking about for months and even for years.
Yeah, really.
Wow, great. We're going to get more leftism.
Really interesting. And I don't disagree with you at all. It's a sign.
Wait, we got a super chat. Let's respond to the super chat. Shauna is saying, we need to get the populism back into the Republican Party or we will lose next 3 elections. Honestly, I don't care if it's the Republican or the Democratic Party, because the populism in the Republican Party might be Nick Fuentes. I don't want populism for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I want populism on either party for classical liberal values. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Honestly, I don't. If you stand for the free markets, for a strong America that exerts its influence all around the world to maintain stability, that is against mass migration, and it's not ashamed to support classical liberal values, I don't give a shit if you're a Democrat or a Republican. That's what we need. We need that guy. I think it's not about right or left anymore, or progressive or conservative. I think it's about liberal and illiberal. And guys, when I say liberal, I'm not talking about left. I'm talking about actual classical liberal values, right? And whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you stand for classical liberal values, that's what we should support. That's what I think. Yeah, freedom of speech. Exactly. Fetterman, for example. Yes, Fetterman would be a good Democrat to support. Do you agree, Shano?
seismic thing that happened in California. But on the point about the direction of the Democrat Party, Mamdani is now the standout superstar of the party, and he's come from nowhere. And he's like this incredibly charismatic. I watched his speech last night. He's taking it to Trump and so on. You know, I can see a lot of young Democrats in particular cheering him on, thinking this is great. But his politics are very, very different. For example,
by the way, Shauna got us to 10 super chats. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, everyone else.
To somebody like Abigail Spanberger, who won in Virginia. Which way is the party going to go? Which is more electable? Can you win a general election in America, do you think, if you are a self-declared socialist?
Absolutely not. And the party is going in both directions. And the progressives had a great win yesterday, and a significant win. And they finally have a spokesman who's incredibly articulate and powerful. And that helps the Bernie Sanders AOC wing of the party. The one who's probably most upset this morning is Chuck Schumer, because his Democratic Party is disappearing. On the Republican side, the party is no longer the party of Ronald Reagan. It's all about Donald Trump and his.
I think it's also not about, it's also starting to stop being the party of Trump. The Republican Party used to be the party of Reagan. Then it turned into being the party of Trump, which was very different from the party of Reagan. And now it's actually moving away from being a party of Trump. And I think we are going to get something closer to the Nick Funteses of the world, you know. So the Democratic Party is going to look more like Mamdani, and the Republican Party is going to look more like Nick Fuentes. So we're basically losing on both sides. So Shauna saying Fuentes isn't a populist. He only cares about one group, which is right Christian males. He has never lifted a hammer in his life. Okay, but none of that negates him being a populist, because none of what you said after him not being a populist is against the definition of being a populist. So I don't know how there's no contradiction between those two. And Jenny gave us super chat saying Mamdani Mamdani's constituency, sorry, that's a hard word for me to spell. English is my second language. Is over, yeah. Basically, his base, the place that his base is overeducated, indoctrinated, and underpaid 20 to 30 somethings. Sad, the life Sad, the life promised by their Generation X parents was a lie. Mamdani, actually, the polls show that Mamdani has won over all demographics, if I remember correctly. So I think Mamdani has actually won over the overeducated and the undereducated and all the demographics, all the different ages. Am I not correct about that? Let me know in the chat. I think Mamdani has actually won. I think that's a stereotype of the Mamdani's base. But if you actually go look at the numbers, he has won almost everybody. Somebody saying no, Armin, mostly overeducated and young. Yeah, just because you're mostly overeducated and young, that doesn't mean that among the undereducated and older generation, he has lost. Hasn't he, on average, also won over them as well? Because that's what I remember. I could go double check that. Constituency. Did I pronounce it right? Constituency. I think I pronounced it right. Let me know if I pronounced it right.
Accolades.
Practice it.
Both parties are moving in those directions away from the center. And in the end, there are going to be more and more Americans who look at both Republicans and Democrats and say, I can't vote for any of you. But Piers, you know I've been on this now for several years. I think the loser last night isn't the Republican Party. It's actually the American people. Because I see both parties rejecting the center, both parties rejecting a common sense approach and moving in these ideological directions. That does fire people up. That does excite younger people and excite people on the fringes. But in the end, there's so many Americans who believe that our democracy is not working anymore, as they do in the UK. And they believe that they're looking for someone with common sense, someone who is a centrist. And this is not necessarily where I stand. This is where the American people stand. And they don't see anyone who's speaking for them.
Okay, I mean, does the numbers actually show this? Because why is it that every time we see somebody with different opinions that this guy, I mean, the people that you're saying are constantly losing.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Do you see anybody on the horizon for the Democrats, for example, that would fit that bill? A sort of a new Bill Clinton-y figure?
Absolutely.
Who?
Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey. Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland. Mitch Landrieu, the former mayor of New Orleans. These are people.
Okay, well, why are they not as famous?
Governor of Maryland. Mitch Landrieu, the former mayor of New Orleans. These are people who focus on getting stuff done. Booker was formerly the mayor of Newark, turned that city around. And they have a record of accomplishment, a record of results.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to matter much. People want populists that can speak like Mamdani. Because if you're saying absolutely, and then you're giving us names that most people don't know. The fact that most people don't know them, to me, suggests that them being able to do things, having the right ideas, or being able to actually, deliver has less of an effect than being able to speak like Mamdani.
Results, which is what the American people are looking for. And they practice accountability in what they do. They're not focused on Washington. They're not.
So he's asking what do American people want, and you're answering what you want. You're basically acting like the American people are, their views and what they vote for is in line with what you want. This guy is misrepresenting. That was not the question.
Ideological. They would not come on this show and yell at each other. They would come to listen, learn, and lead. 3 Democrats that can make a difference. I'm going to repeat this so people check them out. Go on to YouTube to see their speeches. Go to Wikipedia to see their backgrounds. Cory Booker, New Jersey. Wes Moore, Maryland. And Mitch Landrieu.
See, the fact that you have to come mention their name and tell people to go check their Wikipedia pages shows that they have already lost. Nobody needs to come and tell us that, hey, guys, have you heard about this Mamdani guy? Maybe go look at their Wikipedia page. Nobody has to do that. These names that you mentioned are like, oh, yeah, go look at their website and go look at what they're saying. The fact that you need to do that shows that these people have already lost.
Andrew, Louisiana. Incredible leaders focused on results. And I know I sound like a Democrat, but I know that's what the American people are looking for right now.
Oh, yeah, they're looking for these people are very, 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 very popular among Americans. And they're so popular that you actually are introducing them to us and we don't know who they are. And we actually have to go research them. Amazing. Amazing. Mamdani, they don't want Mamdani, the guy that everybody now knows who he is and talking about it, the guy that is very popular. They want exactly these people that we haven't heard of. I mean, if Americans want that, then why do they need an introduction?
Putting your predictive hat on, take me forward to the midterms and then the general election. So 2026 first, then 2028.
Somebody's saying, I'm from Europe and we're better than the USA. You fucking idiot. The only reason why Europe gets to have some free shit is because of the generosity of the US Army. You guys are, European countries are basically leeches on the benefits that the capitalism of US markets have brought to the world. Europe would be nothing without the support of the United States. Europe would be nothing. Every single European country today would be a third world country after World War II if it wasn't because of the United States. The fact that you don't have to spend so much money on your safety and security is because Daddy US is saving your ass, and that's why you get to spend so much of your money on some other things, and you're wasting it. By the way, you're wasting it.
As things stand, what do you think is going to happen in both?
I've studied this. I know what history says, and history says the Democrats are going to win the House races. Maybe not the Senate because the majority is too much in favor of the Republicans. But after last night in California voting the way that it did, if I were a betting man, I'd bet on the Democrats winning the House very narrowly. Republicans keeping the Senate very narrowly, and the country once again going at each other. And we're going to have the most amazing election in 2028. If you were entertained by 2020 and a little bit scared about 2024, 2028 is going to be like The Godfather 2. It's going to be even better than what we saw in terms of competitiveness.
Somebody saying, excuse me, sir, the UK hasn't and will never be a third world country. You're right. You're right. However, you would be writing that in German today if it wasn't because of the United States.
My concern is than what we saw in terms of competitiveness. My concern is whether or not it's better in terms of bringing voters back in, having them have faith, trust, and confidence in the American political system. Because in the end, Piers, ratings don't matter. I know they do for you. They don't matter for America. Money doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wow, this guy is such an analyst. Ratings don't matter. Money doesn't matter. Okay, this guy is not very serious.
Happiness matters. Success matters. Trust and confidence in the system of government. Our patriotism matters, and our country matters. And I'm hoping that we will put people truly, not a slogan,
Who is this guy?
put people
Next.
above politics in the
This
years
guy's-
to come.
This guy is not good.
And Frank, finally, do you expect Donald Trump to try and change the rules so he can run again in 2028, or is he just trolling the libs, as he would put it?
This guy is boring me. I want to speak more about Mamdani. Bring back the panel. Who's this guy? This guy is like not very serious person. Oh, there we go. The panel. Let's bring back the panel.
Today's show.
Okay, wait. Yeah, we got a super chat. Shauna saying if Europeans are so much better than US, then they can protect their own borders. US should leave the UN and they can take care of Russia themselves. Oh my god. Thank you, Shauna. Yes, like the mighty NATO, like what would be left of NATO without the United States in it? I wonder. Good point, Shauna.
We're sponsored by Oxford Natural, makers of
Oh my god.
They who lost 70%.
Wait, is he promoting a is he promoting a weight loss drug?
He's robbing, who lost more faith, energy, and supports weight loss throughout.
Guys, if you want weight loss, there is no weight loss in a pill, okay? Weight loss, it means you eat less calories, you sleep more, you drink more water, you take more protein, you take more fiber, and you exercise more. There is no pill that is going to help you. There is no pill that's going to save you. Like, what the fuck is this? I mean, okay.
Countless success stories, including from some very familiar. We lost more on your screen.
Wait, these are fat people. Why are you showing us fat people for weight loss? I'm pretty sure. Oh, these are before and after. Okay. But I'm pretty sure that they didn't lose all of this weight because of that pill. Bullshit. Selling us snake oil.
Deadline has passed, but for millions of Americans, trouble is just beginning. If you missed the October deadline or owe back taxes, the IRS is now ramping up penalties up to 20.
Guys, there's calories in, calories out. Okay, it's the simple laws of thermodynamics. Eat less food and you will lose weight. There's no magic pill. Go. Let's pass this ad. Stupid ad. Okay.
There's 42 million people who need SNAP, Medicaid, price of eggs. Donald Trump. I think he's recognizing that Republicans have a real problem. Donald Trump campaigned successfully on the problem of affordability, the price of eggs, the price of other staples, but has come to office, and what has he done? He's cut Medicaid. He's now providing over a government shutdown in which 42 million people who need SNAP benefits to get food are being denied it because of his party's refusal to extend healthcare subsidies for millions of people. And what is he offering people that who he promised that he'd make America great again? Nothing. He just recently bragged about how he's redecorating the White House, built a new bathroom. How does that help average people? And that's the fundamental problem. Trump successfully tapped into real discontent. I'll give him credit for that. He tapped into real outrage over Democratic Party elite failures. But now you have someone in the...
Yeah, exactly. Like Mamdani, he's tapped into the actual outrage. Okay. But he has no solution.
So Zohran Mamdani and his grassroots movement actually talking about the issue of affordability while
but with no solution,
presenting concrete proposals. And I think Franklin,
that's okay. If you think those proposals are concrete, you must have failed Econ 101.
This is very correct to recognize that for Republicans who are the current party in power. They control the White House and both chambers of Congress. But this is a real problem for them. And by the way, also, Piers, if I may, on this issue of this pastor who keeps coming up, this Muslim leader who Zohran Mamdani took a photo with.
Pastor? You mean imam?
Again, if you look at the specifics of that case, he was an unindicted co-conspirator, former terrorism prosecutor, later criticized his inclusion in a list in that case because basically some of the suspects in the World Trade Center bombing attended his mosque around the time of the bombing. So
Bullshit. He directly supported terrorists. He supported and he fundraised their legal case and he supported them and he praised them. Bull fucking shit.
That's like basically
Well, this is the hill you choose to die on. You are still apologizing for this guy. Wow.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I can't believe that.
That's like, excuse me, I'll finish my sentence. I'll finish my sentence. I'll finish my sentence.
Honestly,
That's
out of
like,
everything
excuse
you
me,
could have talked
I'll
about.
finish. I didn't interrupt you. I'll finish my sentence. That's like blaming the pastor of George W. Bush's church for the Iraq War. And these are the smears of people.
No, but what the fuck? If for the Iraq War, first of all, the Iraq War was a good idea. What the fuck?
Who can't contend.
The removal of Saddam was a good idea. It's not even comparable to 9/11.
And with the fact that you have a candidate in Zohran Mamdani
Okay,
who has
horrible
grassroots
analogy.
support, record turnout in New York City, and is galvanizing people on the issues that impact their lives.
I think there's an even. I apologize.
Unindicted co-conspirator, meaning they can't prove that he was in the room, but he was in the room.
No, they can't prove anything. They didn't prove it in the first place. It's a red herring. Give it up.
Bro, are you literally trying to stick up? Are you really trying to stick up for this guy? Are you really trying to stick up for this guy?
Yes, I am.
And Piers,
He's a respected Muslim leader. He didn't do anything wrong.
He's a respected Muslim leader. He directly supported terrorists. Very clearly and directly praised and supported and funded terrorists. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You're desperately trying.
Oh, I'm very desperate. Piers, mind you, on Sunday, Mamdani was in a gay club. Pandering to the gay people to try to get votes.
Okay, see, now this guy lost us. Pandering to gay people. You have Mamdani is saying so many fucking vile and disgusting shit. You want to attack him for this? What do you mean pandering to gay people? You mean pandering to people who can vote? Like, isn't he like you mean campaigning? Oh my God! Like, among all of the stuff that you could attack Mamdani for, this is what you choose. This is why the other side could act like you're a whole bunch of homophobes. What the fuck? Among all the shit that you have against Mamdani, the motherfucker is a terrorist sympathizer and a communist, and then he goes and campaigns among gay people, and that's what you want to attack him on? Pandering to gays? You mean basically campaigning? Oh my God.
Was in a gay club, pandering to the gay people to try to get votes. And let me explain something to you. People were like,
what do you mean pandering to gay?
What do you mean? Right?
What do you mean?
They're voters. They're fucking voters.
Pandering to gay people.
He was pandering.
You mean trying to campaign
because I'm going to
voters?
finish right now because.
Okay, great. You made the pro Mamdani side look sane. Great job. Oh my God.
Because there's something,
okay,
you know where he's from? Uganda. Do you know how Uganda treats gay people? Have you been to Uganda?
Yes.
Have you heard what Ugandans do?
Okay,
that's where he's from.
Okay, there we go. That's a good criticism. Mamdani went and took a picture with the leader of Uganda, proudly taking a smiling picture with her. The person in Uganda, you should actually say that because you're not saying it very well. The person that actually was proud of introducing life prison for anybody who's gay. And Mamdani took a picture with her smiling, so knowing what she stands for. That's what you should say. And you're not even explaining that very
treats
well.
gay people. Have you been to Uganda?
Yes.
Have you heard what Ugandans do?
Is Zohran Mamdani responsible for
he's a Muslim dude from there.
This is what I'm talking
and what
about.
he's practicing, Piers, what he's practicing is called taqiyya, okay?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Why do you go with taqiyya? There's so much better things that we could use against this guy. Taqiyya because he's a Muslim. As if politicians don't lie and he's lying because he's a Muslim. As if other politicians are just honest. Guys, when you have so much shit on the person, why do you mention taqiyya? You're gonna look like a fucking right-leaning nut job. Guys, I am an expert in Tariya. I know Tariya when I see it, okay? You can't just call that lying or misrepresentation Tariya. I'll tell you when it's Tariya, okay? Just come ask me when it's Tariya, okay? You can't, because, he's a Muslim, so he's doing Tariya. Like, oh, yeah, the other politicians are just 100% honest.
It's a practice in Islam, all right, Piers, that you deceive and you lie about stuff.
No, Tariya has to be there's two types of Tariya. Tariya has to be, just because you lie and deceive, it doesn't make it Tariya. Tariya there's two categories of Tariya. One is you lie about your views because your views will get you killed. Like if your Islamic views, you lie about your Islamic views because if you're honest about your Islamic views, the government will kill you or torture you or whatever, right? That's number one, and that was mostly for Shias living under Sunni rule. And then they invented a second type of Tariya on top of that, which you can lie for the purposes of advancing Islam. For that specific purpose. That's a second type of Tariya. Okay? And let me tell you something. Most Muslims are not familiar with this second type of Tariya. Most Muslims are familiar only with the first type of Tariya. I take that back. Most Muslims have no fucking idea what Tariya is. Most Muslims have no fucking idea what Tariya is. And many ex-Muslims learn about Tariya after they leave Islam from critics of Islam. That's how I'm familiar. I mean, in modern days, more Muslims are hearing about Tariya and they're learning about it from non-Muslims. In modern days, because of social media, Muslims are becoming familiar with what Tariya is because non-Muslims talk about it. These are the truth. This is you don't want to admit it. You don't want to accept this. Yeah, whatever.
Just to have people to further your Piers, that you deceive and you lie about stuff.
I'm not defending Tariya. I know it exists, and I know it's deception, and I know it's a problem. I was raised in a Islamic Shia country, so I know how we call it khud'a. Khomeini used it against us Iranian people, so I know that it's Islamic deception and it's very dangerous. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that you don't know what you're talking about when you're using it. So I'm anti-Islam. I am very aggressively anti-Islam. But when you want to attack Islam, you need to do it right.
Practice in Islam, all right, Piers, that you deceive and you lie about stuff just to have people to further your Islam agenda. You're being
Islam agenda. Okay, yes, but this Mamdani has more of a leftist agenda than an Islamic agenda.
Hang on, Vinny, hang on. Just because he's from Uganda doesn't mean he agrees with all the policies of Ugandan.
Yeah, because he didn't explain it well. He didn't explain it very well. It's not that he's Ugandan, so he agrees with all the policies of Uganda. He took a picture with the smiling picture with a woman responsible for giving gays in Uganda life sentences.
Governments.
He's Muslim, Piers. He's Muslim.
Look. This is a response. Like, why are you acting like him being Ugandan means that he supports Ugandan policies? And instead of saying that, hey, it's not that he's Ugandan. He's actually friends with the people who are oppressing gays in Uganda. But his response is like, he's a Muslim. Yeah, you sound like a right-leaning nut job when you say that.
He's Muslim. How do Muslim people feel towards gays? Are you?
No, okay. How do Muslim people feel towards gays? You cannot generalize all Muslims, okay? You can't generalize Islam, and Islam is anti-gay. Islam is very aggressively anti-gay. But Muslims are diverse. Most Muslims have never read the Quran. Most Muslims have never read the Quran. We have many pro-gay Muslims. We do. I mean, they're not as much as anti-gay Muslims, to be honest. But we do have. I know it's bizarre. I know it goes against what the religion teaches them. But here we are. It's reality. We have pro-gay Muslims. So you cannot just say, "Oh, Muslims are anti-gay." Some of them are not. Many of them are not.
Agrees.
I went to a mosque with a female gay imam. I went to a mosque with a female lesbian imam, telling us how evil white people are. It was a leftist mosque.
With all the policies of Ugandan governments. All the laws.
No, he's Muslim, Piers. He's Muslim. He's Muslim. How do Muslim people feel towards gays? Are you guys lost? Are you lost?
Well, there are many Muslims who have no problem with gays.
Bro. That's a Muslim.
Yeah, but there are many Muslims.
That's Muslim, bro.
Can I
use a couple of facts here? Because this is all really.
Hang on. Let me bring in Mark. Let me bring in Mark and then Lindy. Mark.
Okay, a couple of things just to inject some facts. One.
By the way, guys, they almost kicked me out of that mosque because I was asking people too many questions. I went into a Wahhabi mosque and they didn't kick me out. They even actually gave me dates. I went to a Muslim Brotherhood mosque. They didn't kick me out. Okay. I asked questions. They answered them. I went into a leftist woke mosque with a female lesbian anti-colonialism, anti-white people mosque. Okay. And I asked question and they were going to kick me out. They told me to kick me out. And I promised them I won't ask any questions and they let me stay. Weird experience. The Wahhabi mosque wasn't going to kick me out. The Muslim Brotherhood mosque wasn't going to kick me out. The fucking retarded, weird, I don't know, leftist, I don't know what the fuck what I was even experiencing. They almost kicked me out of the mosque.
Taqiyya isn't about lying. And Taqiyya is about concealing your faith as Muslim to get over the ostensibly in times of danger. At no point has Mamdani pretended not to be Muslim. If he had, you wouldn't be here arguing like this. Second, yes, let me finish. Second, yes, he's from Uganda, where gay people often are harassed and killed, and there are anti-gay policies in Uganda. You know who they're organized by? Christians, not Muslims. If you just Google or read one book on Uganda, you'd understand that this is a Christian practice, not a Muslim practice. Third,
why doesn't he have the facts that he took a picture with the person that actually smiling picture with the person that actually enforced those policies?
When we talk about Siraj Wahaj, who's the imam who he was in the photo with, there's absolutely no evidence that he was in the room with 9/11 conspirators. That's not even being alleged by the prosecutors.
We're not even talking about 9/11. We're talking about the World Trade Center bombing. Two different things.
Please allow me to finish.
What I'm saying is World Trade #1.
Please allow me to finish.
You're not even getting the timeline right.
I accidentally said 9/11 as opposed to World Trade.
Guys, I actually wrote an article on this. Look, this is the picture that I'm talking about, okay? This is the picture I'm talking about. This lady in Uganda, she's the person that actually passed life sentences for gay people in Uganda. And look how friendly they are with each other. And he took this picture with her, knowing what she stands for, knowing how anti-gay she is. And I actually wrote an article about this. So let me actually I will post a link to my article in the chat for you guys to watch, if you want to read it.
Center. That's not the point. I concede. I said the wrong word. Now I'm going to replace the wrong word with the right word, which is World Trade Center. The point still is the prosecutors don't allege that Wahaj was in the room. So there's no evidence of that, even by the people who you're appealing to for evidence. Wahaj took a picture. A better comparable example would be when Donald Trump takes a picture with Joey Merlino, the convicted mob boss, right? He did it because he didn't know who Joey Merlino was. So
okay,
Wahaj,
but what about this?
Who I don't believe,
all right, Mark.
Who is not a terrorist. Was an acclaimed imam and celebrated in Brooklyn for his acts in the community, and that's what he was being praised for.
Look, time out.
What is
guys,
he supported terrorists. What the fuck are you on about? He was such a good person because he was involved in the community.
Who is not a terrorist. I don't want to claim imam and celebrated in Brooklyn for his acts in the community, and that's what he was being praised for.
Look, time out.
What does co-conspirator mean?
Hang on, Lindy. Hang on. I think we've discussed this particular part of the Mamdani story enough. here's the thing that I find extraordinary, and it's this, Lindy, which is he's on record, Mamdani, as wanting to defund the New York Police Department.
Thank you, Piers.
And calling them a bunch of racists. I would have thought, I mean, call me old-fashioned, but anybody that literally posted that the racist NYPD should be defunded, that would be disqualifying to be mayor of New York. And yet here he
imagine New Yorkers. I mean, New York, guys, is not a safe place to live. As a New Yorker, one of your highest priority should be higher funding for the police, given the experience that you have. People are scared. People are even scared to visit New York, let alone live in there. And then as a New Yorker, one of your highest priority should be more funding for the police. And then you voted for somebody who said he wants to defund the police. Are you fucking insane? Okay.
Is mayor of New York.
Why would that be disqualifying?
Piers, amen. Thank
Why
you for
would that be
bringing
disqualifying?
This
to say
is
you
New York
should
City.
defund the NYPD.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
New York City.
what's the answer to the question?
Mark, it's my turn.
Let Lindy
Please
go
finish.
first, and I'll let you respond.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm asking a question.
Please let me finish. 40% of unsolved murders. This is New York City, the biggest city in the country, and 40% of murders have been unsolved. And he wants to defund the police? Yeah, okay. And then according to some studies, 25% of New York, they want to flee because of his policies, okay? He's on a speedway to hell. And another thing is, Mark, I felt like I was talking to, what's his name? Frank Luntz. I felt like I was listening to a new age therapist. Like, is he crazy? He wants to put forward people like Wes Moore and Cory Booker. Let's go through his people. Like, for example, Cory Booker tried the presidential campaign thing already. He was polling at 1% to 2%. Okay, so we already tried that. The trial balloon failed. Number two, Wes Moore, he lied about getting a Bronze Star. These are the people that Frank Luntz wants to be the face of the Democratic Party? Then please, sounds good to me. And then he talks about the importance of Prop 50. Yes, it's important, but I also think it's a gift to Republicans because in this case, it allows Republicans to tie Gavin Newsom's failed policies to him. There's no way to disentangle the two. We are now able to tie $7 per gallon gas to Gavin Newsom. We can tie homeless encampments all across the state to Gavin Newsom. And you know what, Gavin Newsom, this is all about him running for 2028. This wasn't about the people of California. Right.
It may be. Hang on. Don't talk at once. Hang on. Okay, I'll come to you, Mark, in a moment. But Vinny, I did find, Mark was asking me, well, what's wrong with saying defund the NYPD? I think a lot. If somebody was running for mayor of London on a ticket of defund the Metropolitan Police, I would think that's completely disqualifying, right?
What does defunding mean,
idea that you brand? Well, hang on, Mark. I'll come back to you.
Hold on.
Defunding means remove funding. Means not funding. Like, why is he trying to come up with a new definition to excuse this?
Hold on, Mark. He asked me a question, Mark. What are you talking about, bro? You're the mayor of the city, and you're saying to defund the police department?
Actually, it's worse than defunding the police. They also want to make it easier to go after the police for anything, like to go criminally charge them for stuff and put them in jail. Like, honestly, if I was at New York police right now, I would either look for another career or I will just watch crime as it takes place without doing anything about it because I don't want to go to jail. Because I don't know, something might happen and I'm going to be, Mamdani's program is going to actually make me go to jail for it, right? Like, they're going to be very much harsher in a way that the police is going to feel like they have their hands tied.
And you don't think that's some crazy outlandish ish to say?
He's actually not saying that. He's actually not saying that.
When I tell you,
he did say that.
God, listen,
he did say
Aaron,
Not during the campaign.
Aaron,
not during the campaign. Oh my God! He said he's not saying that, and he said not during a campaign. Oh, so when he wasn't campaigning, he was saying his beliefs, and then during the campaign, he held back so he could get elected. Okay, guys. Now people are going to say taqiyya. I mean, this is just straight up lying. I don't know what you want to call it.
Not during the campaign, but it is on his record.
Every single lie.
Yes, let him finish.
It's on his record. And let me explain something, Piers. Piers, a couple of lies. He hates billionaires, right? Who funded his campaign? Soros.
If you hate billionaires, then you hate society, okay? If you hate the people who have built so much for others, that have the people responsible for growing our economy and generating wealth, because how do you get billionaires? You get billionaires by generating wealth, by creating goods and services that other people use, by paying other people to work, by creating jobs, by creating businesses, by creating entire industries. That's how you turn into a billionaire. If you're anti-billionaire, then you're anti-prosperity, you're anti-growth, you're anti-well-being, you're anti-people. If you knew what's good for your society, you would be celebrating your billionaires. You would be bragging about how many billionaires you have.
Okay, he lied about defunding the police. He said he took that back. He lied about his aunt wearing a hijab on the subway. She wasn't his aunt, and she wasn't in New York City. Hold on. And he wants to legalize prostitution. And he wants to legalize prostitution. Or am I lying about that?
No, he doesn't.
You have to stick up. Your narrative has to stick it. You have to, because you're.
So Jewish Samantha is saying you get billions by being selfish. No, actually, you actually, it's the other way around. You become a billionaire when you understand what people want and you give it to them. That's how you become a billionaire. You become a billionaire by understanding more than other people the needs and wants of people. In fact, you have to be more in touch with the desires of others to become a billionaire than average people.
Full of it, bro. And hold on, last thing, and I'll give you the floor.
Everything
I'll give you the floor. And Lindy nailed it. Cory Booker, Westmore. Hold on, I'll give you the floor. Give me 10 seconds. Piers, you heard Frank Luntz, and Lindy's right. They want to name all these Democrats. What's the first order of business that Newsom, Cory Booker, Westmore, they're all going to do? Number one, they're going to open up the border because they love illegals, okay? That's going to be number one. So every American that's watching this, don't get it twisted.
Okay, Vinny.
The moment a Democrat comes into power, the border's wide open. And what are you going to do? Nothing. Because nobody in your family's getting freaking touched by it.
All right, so
Yeah, so look at this. Leslie is correct. Saying leftists who hate billionaires are shoving them out of our party is annoying. Yeah, exactly. You're going to get less funding for your campaigns. And saying if you are a billionaire and you are a Democrat, that tells me you voted against your own best interest to vote for everyone. Yeah, and again, I mean, if Democrats want to go anti-economy, then billionaires are going to go to the other side, I guess. Yeah, we need a new part. I don't even know if Democrats are going to lose billionaires because the other side is also becoming anti-wealth. We need a new party in the United States that is pro-prosperity.
Okay, no, wait. Don't all talk at once. Don't all shout at once.
But you're right, Jesse. That's a good point.
Hang on. Don't. If you all talk, no one can hear any of you. Mark Lamont Hill, the floor is yours.
Thank you. What I'm disputing here is how we're defining, or very interestingly, not defining defunding. You all are saying defunding and laying it out there, as many people have, which would suggest that he's saying, let's get rid of the police department and take care of and get rid of all of.
No. You're changing it. This is a straw man. You're creating a straw man because it's easier to defeat the straw man. Defunding the police means removing funding from the police. You're like, oh, you think defunding police means getting rid of all of the police? No, we didn't say that. He's like, oh, you're thinking that he's going to remove all of the police, and he's not going to do that. So don't worry, he's not going to remove all of the police. So you just change the position to something more ridiculous, and you're saying that that's not going to happen as a way to defend Mamdani. No, you fucking idiot. Defunding the police means defunding the police, and that's a fucking retarded policy, you fucking idiot. Even if he keeps the police, the fact that he's defunding them, that's a weaker police.
People have, which would suggest that he's saying, let's get rid of the police department and take care of and get rid of all of its resources. That we're just going to
no, that's not what we're saying that he's saying.
Fire the police, which is not what he's saying. If he were saying that,
yeah, and we didn't say that that's what he's saying. We're saying he wants to defund the police. We didn't say he wants to eliminate the police. You fucking idiot. That's not what we're saying. You're responding to an imaginary claim.
That probably would be disqualifying to be mayor.
No. Getting rid of the police, getting rid of the police is disqualifying, but also defunding the police by itself, even if you keep the police, defunding it also should be disqualifying, especially in fucking New York, you idiot. Oh my God.
What defunding means is taking money out of the police department and placing it in other departments where that work could be done. So
why would you defund the police if you need to fund, if you need those other programs, then fund those. You shouldn't be defunding the police. You should be funding the police. And if you have anything left over, then you could fund those as well. You could fund those as well if you have anything left over, but your highest priority should be funding the police even more. Like, oh, we're not trying to get rid of the police. We want to defund the police and fund other programs instead. Well, that's fucking retarded as well. That's also retarded.
When you give the example of, let me finish. So when you give the example of unsolved murders, defunding does not affect unsolved murders in that way. In fact, to the contrary, it would help to solve murders, and I'll tell you how.
No, okay, you fucking idiot. You need more security in this. This guy is retarded. You need more security in the streets. If you need to fund if you need to fund other programs for these other things that will make people safer, here's what you need to do. You need to celebrate billionaires. You need to make New York City more business friendly so that you attract capital. When you attract capital, your tax revenue will go up. And with your tax revenue going up, you could fund these other programs. But you do not, when you have this level of instability and lack of safety in the streets of New York, you don't defund the police to fund these other programs, you fucking moron.
When police come out right now, and I'm only telling you this as someone who's written several books on this and has been part of the defunding movement for a decade. So you can shake your head, but I'm only giving
okay. So you have been a retard for a decade.
I'm telling you this as someone who's written several books on this and has been part of the defunding movement for a decade. So you can shake your head, but I'm only giving you facts. You can disagree with my approach, but I'm telling you what the actual defunding movement is.
Yeah, okay. We understand what you're saying, and we're still calling it retarded.
When we say defunding, what we're talking about is saying right now, if someone has a drug overdose or someone has a mental health crisis, the police get sent out there. When someone is jaywalking, the police have to stop them and give them a ticket in many cities. We're using the police as tax collectors, as therapists, and as counselors. Defunding says let's take some of those resources that we're making the police do for jobs that they shouldn't be doing, and let's give them to therapists, to social workers.
You fucking idiot. The therapist and social worker showing up there would require security because you don't know what's going to happen. You cannot have social workers and therapists facing people in the streets, confronting them. You need somebody with a fucking gun there. So even if you want to send a therapist, you need to have the police present there, or else you're putting the therapist or the social worker in harm's way as well. So all of these people need to be accompanied with a police officer. You fucking idiot.
Drug treatment counselors, and let the police.
Yeah. Okay. There's somebody is overdosing somebody in the street. Just send a therapist without any security, without any police officer accompanying them in the middle of nowhere in a dark alley to come do a therapy session than them, because like over there, and you like, oh my God,
that they shouldn't be doing
this. Guys, when you have social workers in the streets, it's not safe for them. They need to, and you cannot just give them guns as well. They have to be trained. It's almost as if you need the police.
And let's give them to therapists, to social workers, to drug treatment counselors, and let the police.
Drug treatment counsels in the fucking street. Okay, if it's in their clinics, I understand that. But if it's in the street, you need security. You need a security team with them, which is the police.
Focus on, I don't know, policing. And so,
oh my God, somebody's saying this dude is racist. Me? Because I'm calling this guy a retarded? Wow. Because he's black and I'm calling him an idiot, the guy is calling me a racist in the chat. Amazing. Okay. Well, I'm Iranian, so you're fucking racist. How about that? You're racist. I'm Iranian. Okay, so you're a fucking racist. Okay. All right. Let me see. Yeah, we got a super chat saying socialists are the flat earthers of economics. Exactly. Oh my God, I love that. Thank you. Right. Oh God, that was good.
Defunding
Yeah, but he
is
also
actually an
called.
attempt
Yeah,
to-
but Mark, hang on, Mark. He also called.
I just want to say accurately define.
Well, hang on.
Defunding, even if you
He
disagree
also,
with it.
I understand. No, I listened to you. You had the floor. But he also called the NYPD a racist organization. Racist.
Also, he said queer
Look, look at this retarded man. He's like, yeah, of course. What's wrong with that? Look at him. Look at his face. Look at his face. You're like, and like he's asking, like, okay, what's the problem with that statement? Look at him.
Hang on, Lindy.
I'm sorry,
Hang on. Please look.
was that
It's
a
much
dramatic-
easier if everyone
Yeah.
answers the
All the
questions
racists
I
are.
pose to them.
What are you
So
talking
let me
about?
just ask Mark. Mark, do you believe the NYPD is racist?
Yes.
Okay.
All of them.
Oh God, there it is.
No,
There it
you
is.
just
They're all
you just
racist.
moved the goalpost. No,
Black,
hold
Puerto
on,
Rican,
hold on.
Middle Easterns.
No, I
they're all
didn't.
racist.
Okay, Piers Morgan is asking the wrong question. When you say all of them, he's obviously going to say, well, no, I'm talking about the system being racist, not every single individual. So Piers Morgan just gave him a way out. That's not the right question, Piers. That is not the right question. You have, if he says New York police is racist, you have to ask him for evidence. If you say all of them are racist, you just gave him a win. He's going to be like, no, I'm talking about systemic racism. I'm not talking about every single individual being racist. Now he's going to think like he won. Oh my God, that was that. He's going to use it. That's an easy win for him. Look at this.
No, hold on.
Look.
All of them.
Oh God, there it is.
No,
There it
you
is.
just
They're all
you just
racist.
moved the goalpost.
Black,
No, hold
Puerto
on,
Rican, Middle Easterns.
No, I
they're
didn't.
all racist.
No, hold on. You asked me if the department was the institution, and then you just said all of them as in individuals. Do I think every police officer is racist? Of course not. But we're talking.
There you go, Piers. You managed to make this fucking lunatic look like he has a point. That's not the question that you should have asked him. You're like, if the police department is racist, show me the data that proves that they're racist. That's what you should be asking.
Talking about systemic racism. It's just like saying the school system
God.
sucks. It doesn't mean every teacher sucks, but the system itself
going
doesn't
after
work.
crime does not make you racist.
I agree, but shooting unarmed black people does.
Shooting unarmed black people does. Okay, show me the statistics that shows that New York Police Department kills unarmed black people more than other races. Because if you look at the data, it's the other way around, you fucking idiot. The police kills if you actually adjust for the number of times, black people commit more crimes on average. That's the fact. So the number of times that police confronts black people is higher than the number of times that they confront other people. That's a fact. If you adjust for the number of times that the police confronts black people compared to other people, black people get shot less compared to other communities, other groups of people.
Targeting
Let
black
me bring in
neighborhoods.
Aaron. Let me bring in Aaron.
What's the stats?
Let me bring in Aaron. Let me bring in
Does.
Aaron.
Stop
Let me
and
bring in
frisk.
Aaron.
Does.
Let
I
me
can
bring
mention
in.
other-
So, guys, this is what you need to do, and this is what retards don't understand. Okay, you when you look at the stats, you cannot adjust for the percentage of the population. You have to adjust for the percentages of the crime they commit, right? So if you say, like, for example, if in a population 20% of the population is black and 80% is white, and you see that 40% of the times that people are getting shot are black, and you say, well, 40 is higher than 20, therefore the police is racist. That's not how you measure this. If you see that 60% of the crime is being done by blacks, and therefore the black people are being confronted more than white people, and if 60% of the crime is being done by blacks, for example, and blacks are being shot like 55% of the time, 55% more than white people, for example, then it's actually the other way around. That means actually police is actually more careful and holds back more when somebody is black compared to white. And actually, there's a lot of studies that show this. Studies shows that in the United States, police is actually less trigger happy when it comes to black people because they are more afraid of the social consequences when somebody is black compared to somebody being white. So they hold back more.
things that
Let
do.
me
So you
bring
can
in
take the straw
Aaron.
man.
So if anything, this is anti-white racism in the United States when it comes to the police.
Let me bring in
Does.
Aaron.
Stop
Let me
and
bring in
frisk
Aaron.
Does.
Let
I
me
can
bring
mention
in.
other things that
Let
do.
me
So you
bring
can
in
take the straw
Aaron,
man and
please.
attack that, or you can address
All
what I
right.
actually
Let
said.
me bring in Aaron.
Crime is up
Aaron.
30% in New
I'm
York
going to bring
City.
in Aaron if he kills me. So let me bring in Aaron.
You can't die, Piers.
Leslie in the chat saying, I have mixed kids, and I can't tell you from personal experience that I got pulled over a lot more often with their dad in the car than when I was alone. Now that is Kansas, not New York City, but it does happen. All right, Leslie, maybe, but we can't use our personal experiences to come up with these conclusions. We need to look at data.
Here's my problem with Mamdani and why I call him a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm always.
By the way, I know a lot of people in the chat who are like retarded, do not understand what I just said. So, but this is pretty basic, right? This is pretty basic. If a population is committing more crime, the percentage of the crime that it needs to be taken into account to measure whether they're getting shot more or less, not the percentage of the population. Please let me know if some of you guys understand what I'm saying, because this is important to understand. Like, oh, these people are only 20% of the population, but they're getting shot 40%. That doesn't make any sense. You have to look how much the crime rates of that population, not just what percentage of the population they are. That is what you measure. Let me know if you understand that. Because a lot of, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I always love to highlight this, but when people are calling me out, but they can't spell, saying your logic is flawed. Oh, okay. No, actually they're right. How is it? Explain it to me. I thought you're saying you're wrong. Explain that to me. Why is that flawed? Why is that flawed? Yep. This is why we need data science. You don't need data science. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. What we have is more comfort. If you commit more crime, you're gonna get more police confronting you. Pretty straightforward. If you get police more confronting you, then you're gonna have more shootings. Pretty straightforward. So that is not racism. That is just straight up correlation and causation. Pretty straightforward. Easy peasy.
Very distrusting of politicians.
It's more than demographics. It's crime rates. And also, if somebody wants to call me a racist because of me saying black people commit more crime, I'm not suggesting that they're committing more crime because there's something innate about being black and causing more crimes. It has more to do with the fact that it's culture and poverty, right? So black people are not innately more prone to crime. This is not the DNA. This is not genetics. This is not this is not what you're born with. Okay, it's the environment, it's the culture, it's poverty. Okay, it's a culture. So this is not something, and we know that because as soon as a black person raised in a decent family in a good part of the city, you could see that they're very less likely to commit crime. So this has nothing to do with racism. This is just environmental factors that makes the black community in the United States commit more crime.
Who post this kind of stuff 3-4 years ago, but now want us to believe that's not their real opinion. I think that is what he genuinely feels about the NYPD. And by the way, he's allowed to. We live in a free country. He can express that view. And
single moms, yes.
But this
Carl is saying, and single moms. Very good, Carl. Very good. Yeah, that's also a part.
Transformation to, oh no, I don't think the NYPD is racist. Oh no, I don't think that they should be defunded and so on. It's just a little bit too close to when he did believe that for me to think this guy is a serious person. You know, his views haven't changed in 3 years. His desire for power has, Aaron.
Sure, yeah. I mean, people will sometimes say things to get elected. That's called being a politician. It's part of the job. And I don't know what's inside his head. I don't know what his views are. But there's plenty of evidence, as Mark laid out, for why one would think that the NYPD is a racist institution. Not saying every single police officer, but institutionally is. And so I understand why he would think that.
Prove
and on the issue,
Prove it that they're institutionally racist. In fact, institutionally, they're less racist than the sum of the racism of the individuals in the system, because they have so many anti-racist measures and because the system makes them scared of doing something that is racist. I think the racism of the New York police as a system and as an institution is less than the combined racism of the individual, because they have protocols and they have punishment mechanisms for racism, and sometimes they even overcorrect. So if anything, they have so many protocols and punishment and consequences for racism, that for anti-black racism, not for racism, that they have made this system racist against white people. It's unfair against white people. So I would say actually maybe New York Police Department is racist because of all the consequences to potentially being racist against the black people has made the police so concerned over the consequences that they treat black people in a way that, you know, they treat white people in a way that they wouldn't do to black people, because there is no consequences. There's very little consequences. Like, at least there's not going to be a social backlash in a way. Like how many times did you see us out? Like, do you guys know that so many unarmed white people also get shot by police? Do you remember the last time that there was a national uproar about one of them? Do you remember, like, hashtags and social media campaigns about any of them? Do you remember any of that? Well, I don't remember any of that. Like, we have had more white unarmed people in the United States getting shot by police than black people, right? But I don't remember a single time that we had a huge national uproar about a single one of them. To me, that makes the system anti-white racist. Tell me I'm wrong. Oh, Shauna is saying, according to the journalist Coleman Hughes. Oh, I had a show with Coleman Hughes, by the way. Native Americans are the most like to have a lethal encounter with law enforcement. Really? That's very interesting. Native Americans, why?
Issue policy, defunding the police. Mark laid out what that means. Mamdani wants to create a Department of Community Safety, promoting community-based solutions to problems that can be handled by people in the community, which is proven. There's a long a scholarship on this about how these solutions work, and other cities do it. And it has support among the majority of New York City Council, so it's not even a radical thing. And yeah, listen, I'm sure Mamdani is being pragmatic in some ways. It's called being a politician. You have to make compromises sometimes. But the bottom line is this. He centered the issue of affordability. He spoke to issues that nobody else was talking about. He sent a message of hope across the country to people who are feeling left out of politics. And look what happened in New York City. He got more than 100,000 people to turn out for him, to volunteer, to knock on doors. So people feel connected to his message. People feel that he stands by his convictions. And he got a record turnout, almost double the number of voters turned out in this election than did 4 years ago.
But only 51% voted. Only 51% voted for him, and a large number of people voted for the other Democrat.
Only the majority.
Well, no, enough to win.
He's peddling
Wait
a bunch of
minute,
lies.
Lindy, don't start shouting. Enough to win, but but pretty close with the other Democrat candidate, who is the kind of antithesis on the Democrat side of everything Mamdani stands for, which comes back, I think, to the original point I was making. It could be a very great night for Mamdani, unquestionably, a great night for the progressive left wing of the Democratic Party. But actually, if he turns out to be a dud, as we've seen in the UK with Keir Starmer's Labour Party, and he can't deliver on the promises, and he ends up just taxing the hell out of everybody, if that happens, this could become a real millstone around the neck of the Democrats.
They will still love him because of how he speaks, and they will still love him because rich people hate him and the establishment hates him. Guys, do you think like these leftists care about people's well-being and affordability. They just hate, like these leftists, they just hate rich people. They just hate rich people, a lot of them, right? This is not about afford, like it's good, it's nice and pretty to say these like passionate words, but at the end of the day, as long as rich people hate him, as long as the establishment hates him, these people would vote for him. It doesn't matter if his plans work or don't work. I mean, they're not going to work. It doesn't matter if he actually delivers or don't. The fact that a lot of people are hating on him is what makes him popular.
Leading into the midterms and then particularly the general election, I think. Lindy.
Well, listen, sure, of course, anything's
Absolutely.
possible.
President Trump has already said he's going to withhold $18 billion. Aaron, I'm talking. President Trump has already promised, he's vowed to withhold $18 billion in federal funding. Governor Hochul has also said she's not going to, go all in on all the socialist policies. Where is he going to get his money from? All the billionaires are fleeing. Hundreds of thousands of people might leave New York. Where do you think he's going to get the money to fuel his boondoggle? This is absolutely insane. And by the way, I want to quote exactly what he said. This is not us putting words in his mouth.
Who is this? Who is this lady? I like her. I like this lady. Who is she?
Insane.
Make her famous.
And by the way, I want to quote exactly what he said. This is not us putting words in his mouth. He said,
I get it. Look,
queer liberation means defund the police. And for you to have to interpret what he said and use a Zohran Mamdani dictionary to put the best light on his words is absolutely shameful. He hates these people. He thinks they're racist.
If you're a member, look, just to remind you, if you're a member of the NYPD, your new mayor 5 years ago said the NYPD were racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety, and called to defund you. In 2023, just 2 years ago, at the Democrat Socialists of America's convention, Mamdani said, we have to make clear that when the boot...
Why? By the way, he's part of the Democratic Socialists of America, which is a very, very dangerous group, and they have said, Mamdani is part of them. And just go look at their statements. They're so fucking radical. They're insane.
At the Democrat Socialists of America's convention, Mamdani said, we have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF. Vinny, your final thought on that.
That was 100% correct. He's referring to the fact that the NYPD
by the IDF. Because Piers, I don't know about you. You're in New York, Piers. I'm from New York.
I mean, they should be honored. If New York Police Department should be honored to be trained by the IDF. Why wouldn't you want to be trained by the best of the best? That is a compliment. Why is that a negative?
There's nothing that makes me happy. You know what makes me comfortable, Piers? That if I'm getting stabbed or burned to death on the subway, I want a social worker to come and just calm the murderer down. Okay? If you never lived in New York and you've never been on a subway, don't talk to me about crime and cops being racist. They have the hardest freaking jobs on the planet. For the last 20 years. And look at the stats about how racist they are. And what are the stats? What are the odds? Give me the percentage of a cop shooting an unarmed black person in America. What's the number? It's so outlandish that it's such a big thing that they're racist. Give me a break. You guys are all being duped by Mamdani, but I love what Lindy said. Lindy, I'm actually going to adopt that mindset. Is let them do it, Piers. Let them happen. They're going to freaking feel it. And all the New Yorkers that are leaving, that have all the money, when they're all left and the dust settles, and be like, wait a minute, who's going to pay for all the free shit that Mamdani said? And you guys, they're going to feel the freaking wrath. You'll see it, Piers.
Well, it's interesting. People, hang on, final point. People are trying to compare this to London, where Sadiq Khan's been mayor now, won 3 terms. Actually, it's the wrong comparison. They happen to both be Muslims, but Sadiq Khan's quite a establishment figure of the Labour.
Yeah, the Muslim part is not the thing. The communist part, the anti-capitalism part, the anti-rich people, the terrorist sympathizing part. That is the comparison to Sadiq Khan doesn't make sense to me.
Party. Go back to the start of the century to Red Ken Livingstone, who was a genuine socialist. He presided over London for 8 years, and you know what? It wasn't that bad. London survived. So whatever happens,
London is not the same as I remember it. Guys, I've been to London many, many times. Okay, I've been to London as a child. I've been to as you know, when I was 4 years old. I lived in London for 2 years, from age 4 to age 6. I've been to London as a teenager. I've been to London as an adult, and this London is not the same. It's not the same. it's a shadow of what it used to be.
Under Mamdani, I suspect, knowing
Somebody saying, "Are you even an American?" No, I'm not. What about it? I'm Iranian Canadian. Don't you see my? Oh, you guys are retarded. You cannot tell flags. This is an Iranian flag.
New York as I do, and having lived and worked here for 20 odd years, New York will survive whatever Mamdani can throw at it. And if it turns out that he has the magic touch and he can make what nobody has done in modern times work, socialism, in New York.
I mean, I don't know why Piers is saying London is fine. Like, yeah, I mean, London is not fine. I could tell you London is not fine. And London is not safe. So this is not a good comparison.
What nobody has done in modern times work, socialism, in New York. Who knows? You might have President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to look forward to in 2028.
God help us.
Okay, if that happens, guys, we're going to have some... That's not going to be good for the U.S., but I can tell you one thing. We're going to have a lot of interesting shows. If we're going to have a lot of... Guys, imagine if we have... Imagine with me, okay? Imagine if we have election in the United States and the candidate on the Democratic side is AOC and the candidate on the Republican side is Nick Fuentes. Wouldn't that be an interesting election to cover? Guys, are you looking forward to those types of elections? What do you guys think? Would that be nice?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to look forward to in 2028.
God help us.
Help us, God.
God help us.
You never know. Guys, thank you. A very spirited debate. I appreciate it all. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Guys, make sure Torah saying scary. Yes, this is scary. Guys, make sure you follow this channel. Follow for more. And also don't just subscribe. Hit the bell notification because it's only with the power of the bell that you will get notified. The subscribe button, I don't know what it does, but it's not much. It's the bell. The bell has all the power. Okay, so hit the bell button. That will make it, YouTube will notify you probably if we go live. Okay, so do that. And recommend this channel. Like the stream, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and recommend this channel to your friends and to your enemies. And after the show is over, leave a comment after the show, under the show. Okay, thank you guys. And thank you to all the people who were butthurt, especially this guy who's saying shut the fuck up. I really enjoy the fact that you guys bring your butthurt here. It's really entertaining. I enjoy it. So thank you for being here. All the people who were swearing at me, thank you. It gives me a lot of energy. All right, guys, say it with me before we go. I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah. See you guys in the next show. Bye.